Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to this short tutorial episode of War in the East 2. We have seen what combat units are, what HQ units, their infoboxes, leaders, and now the time has come to talk about support units. Support units are all those brigades, regiments, battalions, and even companies that are basically not visible on the map. Support units are directly attached to either HQ units or combat units, and we might have seen in the HQ infobox tutorial that there is a list of units directly attached to the HQ unit, and while we can clearly see some divisions, there are also, for instance, in this case, a list of battalions. Now, these are the support units. Which type of support units are available in War in the East 2? Well, to make things easier, I again prepared a spreadsheet to just, let's say, hopefully make this concept easy to grasp and to understand. Basically, this one here is the list of type of support units. We can have armored, mechanized, motorized infantry, standard infantry, artillery, engineer, blah, 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 and yeah. So this is a list, and also bear in mind that there could be different formations or sizes per each support type. So, for instance, I know that the Axis can have the Panzer regiments and the Panzer battalions as support units, while the Soviets can have the tank brigades. So, just to give you an idea of how many support units you can find in the game. Support units can take part in combats if they are attached to HQs, or they will take part in combat if they are attached directly to combat units. Like, for instance, exactly, if we take a look at the 4th Panzer Division, we can see that the 4th Panzer does have the 5th Company of the 66th Self-Propelled Army Light Flak Battalion directly attached to it. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages in having support units attached to HQs compared to combat units. Having them attached to HQs ensures a certain degree of flexibility at the expense of certainty. We will see shortly HQs can have all type of support units attached, but in order to be committed into battle, first of all, the HQ unit must be within 5 hexes of the subordinate combat units, and we've kind of discussed about it in the previous tutorial about math and checks. And second, the support unit must pass a list of checks before it gets committed into battle. Vice versa, having any support unit attached directly to a combat unit ensures that this support unit will always take part into the fights which are, let's say, which involve this specific combat unit. But there is a big but that I have to say at this point. There are some limitations in regard to the amount of support units that can be attached to combat units, and there is also the limitation of the type of support units that can be attached to combat units. Now, if we briefly, yeah, okay, I think this is this one here. Yeah, let's leave it here. But again, here I summarize into this small table the amount of support units that every faction can have. Axis infantry, motorized infantry, and panzer divisions can have up to 3 support units attached. Axis independent brigades like the Leibstandarte or the 8th SS Cavalry Brigade can have 2, while the individual regiments like these ones here can have only 1 um, support unit. Vice versa, kind of similar is for the Soviets. The Soviet Rifle Corps, not really the ones like this one here's of 1941, but the Rifle Corps of 1943. The Mechanized and the Tank Corps as well can have 3 support units. Rifle divisions can have 1, and the security divisions can have 1. The Soviets mountain cavalry, tank and mechanized divisions of, let's say, at least tank and mechanized of the early stages of the war cannot have any support unit attached to it. Some support units can, can have a dual role. They can either be they can either behave as combat units or as support units, and they are called multi-role units. And you can basically click on this button and you will switch between the support and combat mode and vice versa if this unit is eligible for the multi-role function. And normally only brigades can be switched between combat and support units. Now, how do we move support units between units? There are some ways. First of all, you can pick any HQ and you can directly click on assign support units. You can click by here and you will see all of the support units available to the higher HQ units, in this case the 2nd Panzer Group, the Army Group Center, and the OKH. And here you have divided by type all the available support units. And if you click here on assign the second method that is only available to HQs, is to click here on the support level. By checking this number during the next logistics phase, the AI will do its best to assign as many support units per each type to this specific HQ. In this case, if we leave it as 3, the AI will try to assign 3 support units per each type. So 3 artillery, 3 SP artillery, 3 engineers, 3 anti-aircraft, 3 rockets, 3 infantry, and so on and so forth, as long as they are available. If you want to prevent, if you want to prevent any specific HQ unit from sending away its support units, you can click here on the number until it says locked. Now this HQ is now, we could say it's frozen, because when it's locked it will not ship away its support units. There is also a third way that we will see in a different tutorial, that is via the commander report. We can give it a try, and also because there is a bit of interface that needs to be mentioned. And in this case, I want to attach, for instance, the 521st Panzerjäger Battalion to the 267th Infantry Division. And I clicked on the unit. The unit has now been selected, and you see here there is a small star. Now the star indicates that this unit has been assigned on this turn, and there is also a disadvantage, because any support unit that is moved within let's say within its very first turn will have a -1 of admin check penalty, to mimic kind of the problems due to the organization and communication and control of these new support units attached, for instance, to the 267th Infantry Division. Second big but, not but, you know, BUT. There is also a limitation in which type of support units can be attached to combat units. And again, I prepared this small table. Fortified zones and HQ units can receive all types of support units. Cities, I did not really talk about it, but we can briefly have a look at it. Let's pick Poznan, and if you click on Poznan and you then click here on examine city details, besides these that we don't really care about it, if you click here on assign AA and construction units, you can assign, yeah, either construction or anti-aircraft units to cities, and I will talk about this more at the end of the air war tutorials. While all of the combat units can receive any of these support units, but constructions, artillery, mortars, and rocket support units. And yeah, I think that's it already for this tutorial. I know it was very short, but I didn't want to mix support units and combat units because yeah, I didn't want to have a fruit salad of information for these tutorials. Folks, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay tuned for the next tutorial, in which we will talk about construction and fortifications. Until then, take care and stay safe.